Page 1 on Google is dead. 63% of AI search citations now come from outside the top 10. I'm Corey, founder of Neuron HQ. Here's what actually changed in AI search this year and what it's worth when you get cited. What agencies actually specialize in getting a business cited by ChatGPT and Gemini? And is that a real specialty or just an SEO agency with a new landing page? We asked 3 AI engines this exact question, recorded every single source they cited, and the results were not what the industry sells you. The short answer first. They're usually called GEO, Generative Engine Optimization, or AEO, Answer Engine Optimization. Most of the category is a search agency that renamed one page. The honest test is a single question. Can you show me a citation you earned on a query you did not choose? Being cited is not the same as ranking. An engine reads a large set of pages and quotes one passage, not a whole article. Let's start with what actually separates a real specialist from a rebrand. A real GEO agency measures whether the engines name you, and it writes for retrieval instead of ranking. Those two differences drive everything else that follows. 4 things separate a real specialist, and a genuine agency can tell you which of them they actually do. Measurement, asking the real engines your real buyer questions on a schedule and recording what came back. Question-shaped pages, 1 page per question a buyer actually asks, with the answer in the first 2 or 3 sentences. Crawlability, a robots.txt file that explicitly allows the AI crawlers, GPT bot, Perplexity bot, Claude bot, and Google Extended. And entity clarity, organization schema, and a name and location that match everywhere your business appears. Notice what's missing from that list: buying links. It's the single most common thing sold under this banner, and it's the least connected to whether an engine actually names you. So how do you actually tell a real specialist from a search agency that just changed its homepage? Ask 4 questions and you'll know fast. Which engines do you check and how often? Because we monitor AI search is not an answer. Show me a query where your own brand gets cited, because if they sell visibility and have none of their own, that's the whole review. What do you do when we're not cited? Because you want to fix, not just another report. And do you buy or place links? Because if the answer is yes, you're buying a different product with its own risk. That does little for citation. A specialist answers the first 2 in a single sentence each. A rebrand changes the subject to traffic, impressions, or domain authority, numbers that describe ranking, not whether an assistant ever said your name. So we put the question itself to the engines and recorded exactly what came back. On August 20th, 2026, we asked Perplexity, Google, Gemini, and OpenAI's GPT-4o the exact question: which agencies specialize in AI search engine optimization, and logged every source each one returned. Perplexity answered with the widest source list of the 19 separate domains cited in its response. Google Gemini answered too, citing 9 domains, roughly half of Perplexity's list, with almost no overlap between the two. And OpenAI's GPT-4o answered differently again. No linked sources at all, it just named specific agencies directly in the prose of its answer. Add the 3 lists together, and 26 different domains were cited across all 3 engines, and not one single domain showed up in all 3 answers. There is no consensus yet on who the real specialists even are. The cited set skewed heavily toward directories and roundup pages, agency comparison lists alongside Reddit, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Individual agency websites were the minority of what actually got quoted. Here's the honest part. Neuron HQ was not cited in any of the 3 answers on the day we published this. A visibility company hiding its own measurement would be exactly the problem this whole article is about. So we're publishing the miss right alongside everyone else's. That has a direct consequence if you're the one shopping for an agency right now. The engines aren't telling you who does the best work. They're telling you who already appears on the lists they trust, which is a very different question. Which raises the real question. Why do directories and listicles keep winning this specific answer? Because an engine answering which agencies specialize in X needs a source that already compares several agencies side by side, and a single agency's own homepage isn't that. A page that says we're the best isn't usable in a neutral answer. A page that lists 12 agencies with a sentence each is. which means the practical move for any service business is claiming your listing on the aggregators the engines already quote, not just publishing more pages on your own domain. Being present where the comparison already happens is how you enter an answer you could never write yourself. One more myth worth killing directly. Do backlinks actually get you cited by ChatGPT? Barely, and not the way link packages are sold. Citation is retrieval, not ranking. A passage has to be retrievable for the query, a direct answer to it, and from a source the model is willing to quote. Links touch only that third piece, and only weakly. We can say that from our own position instead of in the abstract. Neuron HQ carries a very small link profile and still holds verified citations in AI engines, which isn't a claim about how strong we are. It's evidence the two things are less connected than the industry sells. So, with all of that on the table, what should this actually cost? Expect two tiers in this market, a monitoring and publishing tier priced monthly on the lower end, and a done-for-you tier that also covers entity work, video, and social placement, priced meaningfully higher and usually quoted separately once an agency understands your business. Whatever tier you're looking at, insist on the measurement piece specifically. An engagement that can't tell you whether an engine named you this month isn't selling AI visibility. It's selling content and hoping you don't ask the difference. A few of the questions people ask most answered straight. Is GEO different from SEO or just a rebrand? Both, depending who you ask. The underlying craft overlaps heavily with good SEO. Be crawlable, be clear, be trustworthy. What's genuinely new is the measurement and the writing shape. If an agency hasn't changed how it measures, it's rebranded. How long does it actually take to get cited? Weeks, not days, and it's probabilistic, not guaranteed. Engines recrawl and re-rank their own source sets on their own schedule, and no agency controls that clock. Anyone promising a specific citation by a specific date is promising something they can't deliver. Can I check my own AI visibility without hiring anyone? Yes. Ask the engines the questions your buyers actually ask in a fresh session and write down which sources each one cites. That's the exact method we used for this entire video, just done by hand. What if an engine names a competitor instead of me? That's the useful signal, not the insult. Look at the page the engine actually cited, usually a directory listing or a question page, and work out whether you're absent from that surface or present but unquotable. Those are two very different fixes. Does my business need to be on Reddit for this? It helps more than people expect. Reddit gets quoted heavily by these engines, and it showed up in our own measurement here. It has to be a genuine answer from a real account, not a dropped link, because posting links at scale gets accounts banned, which removes the surface completely. So the honest version. Real specialists measure and show you their own citation. Everyone else changes the subject. 26 domains got cited when we asked, and not one agency showed up in all three answers, including ours. Run the free check yourself. 4 engines, the questions your own buyers actually ask, no credit card required, the full data, every domain we logged, and how to run this exact test yourself. So, run the check yourself. 5 keyword questions, written down, asked and asked again in 30 days. If the answer does not change, you fixed the wrong thing. The full written version with every source linked is at neuron-hq.com/blog.